Welcome to Pandora's Box. Redneck edition, y'all. Yeehaw!
Oh, yeah, baby!
Woo! You come down to swamps of Alabama. Join us all on Pandora's Box this week. This is Redneck edition.
Why is that, man? Why is it Redneck edition?
I'm taking over the show from Obadiah Pennywhistle. My name's Cletus.
Cletus. Nice, baby.
Give
us a smile on camera, man. Look at that. Yeah.
That
Head up a little bit.
whites.
Head up a little bit. Oh, yeah, look at that.
This is a smile that wins the hearts of all the ladies down in the bio.
Oh, yeah.
Down in the bio when I'm wrestling them gators. You see, the other day, I was eating satsuma, and it was late at night.
Damn
I just been with my friends who swore the gold on some official business.
Yeehaw.
Official radio business.
Oh, yeah.
And I got home, I was like, you know what I need? I needed some satsumas, some nice, fresh, citrusy goodness, and I have a little protein shake before I slip into my nice, warm bed. Sweaty bed down in the bio.
Yeah.
When I ate my satsumas, I was like, I'll take my skins, and I'll go and get rid of them. My satsuma skins, that is. And then I was walking through the kitchen, I was at my tongue.
Cleaning those tatsuma tingers out of your tootsies.
Oh, yeah, my tongue was gliding across those teethicles. And then I gently pushed against my top right incisor. And then it popped out. And fell out in the kitchen.
Darn tootin'.
And then women, I was like, hello. That was a very nice satsuma. And then my tooth popped out, and I was like, oh my God, tootin', what just happened to me?
I'm all of a sudden in Redneck.
My tooth coming falling out, and now I'm a goddamn hillbilly. Go find me. And I ran out the back door, and I ran all the way until I found a gator, and I wrestled that gator, killed him with my bare hands, made a necklace out of his teeth. So yeah, welcome everybody to Pandora's Box. This is Redneck edition. Until my tooth gets fixed. In this day and age, I tell you what, it is hard to find a dentist that will reattach a crown in this current climate that we're living in. A lot of people aren't taking on new clients. I'm not currently registered with a dentist because I tell you what, I got pretty good oral hygiene if I do speak for myself, you know? Don't ever miss a day of brushing and mouth washing, etc. Floss if you need to. Don't leave that food stuck in your teeth. But, yeah, I haven't needed a dentist, but then, lo and behold, crown pops out. Need a dentist.
Popping out, man.
Running about 10 dentists up. Sorry, sir. We're not currently taking on any new clients. Are you registered with us? No, I'm not, ma'am. That's why I'm trying to ring you right now and get some dentist work done. She's like, sorry, sir. I'm like, well, what are you supposed to do then if you need some emergency dentist work? Well, you can call the Somerset Emergency Dental Hotline. God dang it. I don't want to be messing with that.
That's why my tooth fixed, man.
That's why my tooth fixed.
Get back on my teeth.
But yeah, just give you a little bit of background on my situation. You might be thinking, why have you got a crown if you're lording about your dental hygiene? Well, I'll tell you. When I was tender age of about 15 years old, I was in my good friend's mother's back garden. Funnily enough, it also turns out that it's
my back garden.
His back. Mr. Bojangles, by the way,
Mr.
today.
Bojangles.
He is Mr. Nathaniel Warren.
Remember the name.
Mr. Nathaniel Warren. Remember the name. Hallowed be thy name.
Mr. Bojangles.
He's usually Mr. Nathaniel Warren, host of the Rap Radar Sundays from 8 until 10 p.m.
That'd be me.
But today he's Mr. Bojangles. How's it going, Mr. Bojangles?
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Feeling
And to the right of me, we have Mr. Drew Armstrong, co-host extraordinaire, tech extraordinaire, and a great mind that is constantly at play here in Aspen Waite Radio Towers.
What's up?
What up? Your name today will be Rectoid.
Rectoid.
So we have
Rectoid.
Rectoid and Mr. Bojangles.
Man, I've been having some problems with my rectoid recently.
It's like, is it something to do with your unseen parts? Is it a shape? Maybe it's both.
Damn, man, it's just too damn hot curry.
Too damn a hot curry.
Maybe the shape of your unseen parts.
The shape of your rectoid.
Yeah.
The shape of your rectoid.
Sensitivity of my rectoid is a thing.
You always got to watch out for the sensitivity of your rectoid as well as your teeth. But yeah, when I was going back to my original story, I just wanted to quickly introduce these fine young gentlemen here. When I was 15 years old, I was in my friend Josh's Zeus Water the Gold's back garden, which also, as everybody knows, Mr. Bojangles is the younger brother of Zeus Water the Gold. So, and he's only 18 years old. You know, bless him, bless his young soul. So he's still living at home with his mother. And I was at the aforementioned mother's back garden, Mrs. Dawn Warren. Shout out to you, Miss Dawn Warren, lovely, beautiful woman, and Mr. Kevin Warren, their property. And I was in the back garden with Zeus Wilder Gold, our good friend Joseph David Wynn. And I can't remember why I tackled him, because I don't think we had a ball or anything like that on us, but I rugby tackled our friend Joseph David Wynn very hard. I can't remember why. I think I was a little bit under the influence of some alcohol, and I rugby tackled him very hard and inappropriately, some might say. And my tooth smashed into his hip, and my tooth actually stuck in his hip and snapped off, and I was left like this with my top right incisor snapped clean in half.
Damn, son.
And he was left bleeding from the hip. Literally, I had opened him up. I had opened up his hip.
You bit it.
Performed surgery on
He
him.
was bleeding fairly profusely from his hip, and my tooth was actually stuck in his hip.
Right on in there.
It was stuck in his hip. He had to pull my tooth out of his hip. So
You done it properly, man.
he had to go to the emergency room. A&E, as it's known. He had to go to the emergency
Oh,
room.
my word.
So we went down there.
Emergency.
The doctor was like, "What happened?" And he was like, "Well, my friend over here, Cletus, he was like, he ropey tackled me in my friend's garden, and his tooth stuck in my hip, and it bust me open."
Surprised you didn't bite his hip damn clean off, man.
I know. In hindsight, I wish I had. And he had to get stitches on his hip. So my tooth was taken out. He had to get clean and disinfected. You know, 'cause you don't know where I've been. I'm like a rabid dog. I tell you, I'm like a rabid dog. So they
had to get a shot.
He had to get a shot. He had to get
A rabies shot.
all sorts of shots. He would have definitely got rabies.
He got a shot, then we went home, we did some more shots.
Maybe I have had rabies all my life. Maybe that explains a couple things. You know, a lot of people say I'm quite a manic guy, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so maybe that's why. Maybe I just got rabies.
Got them
Rabbits.
rabbits.
Insatiable hunger.
For more.
Foaming at the mouth.
Physical energy, foaming at the mouth, manic persona. Maybe I have got rabies. Maybe he would have got rabies for his shot. But anyway, he got stitches. And I think, you know, he's still got scars on his hip to this day from my teeth.
I should hope so.
And I should
Reminder
hope
of
so.
the day.
A reminder.
Yeah.
A battle scar.
Don't mess with Cletus Brown.
Don't mess with Cletus Brown. I tell you one thing. You mess with Cletus Brown, you ain't going to come away without some sort of scar or body disformity. I tell you that. Disfiguration. But I was left with half a tooth, and at the time my nerve was exposed.
Oh, man. Oh,
And I
god damn that.
Oh, for anybody that's ever
God
had
damn that.
God dang that. I tell you. God dang that. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
For anyone
Not
that's ever
wild.
had a nerve exposed in your
Oh,
mouth.
my God. There's not much worse than that.
I'll tell you what, I've broken bones, I've dislocated body parts, I've had quite a lot of injuries in my lifetime, and I can tell you,
Them exposed nerves,
you might think like
they get you, man.
you might think like a big broken arm or something like that, you know, but I tell you what, I think the pain of the exposed nerve was actually worse.
Oh, damn.
Because-
Dang nabbit.
When you have an exposed nerve like that, the pain is indescribably excruciating.
Excruciating, man.
I remember we went to in the UK. We have a little shop called Greg's, and I went to Greg's and I bought
Sausage roll.
what's known as a tuna crunch sandwich.
Tuna crunch.
Tuna Crunch.
And in a
God,
tuna
that's
crunch
good.
sandwich, you got onion, fresh onion.
Onion.
And I went there after we had taken Joseph David Wynn to the emergency room. Went to Greg's, I was peckish, and bought myself a tuna crunch. Well, I bought into that. I bought it right into that tuna crunch.
Bite into the tuna
Crunch, man.
And
Crunch.
my teeth sliced into a fresh piece of
dang.
onion, and
Oh,
onion juice
no.
Oh, no.
seeped into my nerve.
no.
And
Oh,
Jesus
no.
Christ, honestly,
Like
I
an ice pick to the face.
Oh,
like
that's
a
pain.
hot poker up the rear. I was jumping up and down.
Intense pain.
Intense
My
pain.
word.
Intense
One of
pain.
the most there's not just like the pain scale. There's different types of pain. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the feeling of being punched is very different than say the feeling of being pinched.
Yeah.
The feeling of having your hair pulled is very different than the feeling of being burned, say. And in terms of like the type of pain, that sort of pain,
You don't want it.
that nerve pain,
You don't want
when you got
anyone
like
to feel that pain.
when you got like an exposed nerve in your mouth,
Damn.
something, and something like onion juice or vinegar or something like that shoots up into that exposed tooth that cavity in your nerve.
Call that pain from the brain, my friend.
I tell you what,
pain from the brain.
It sends a shockwave through your entire body, through your entire core.
Yeah, man.
Through your entire lymph node system.
You don't want
Every
that.
single millimeter of your body
is engorged.
Is in agony, engorged in pain. And it was one of the worst things ever. And I just, so I had to get an emergency
C-section?
I had to get an emergency C-section so I could, that my baby could be delivered. I had to get an emergency appointment with the doctor, and he put on
He put his gloves on.
He put his gloves on, and he put me on a nice little crown.
Yeah,
Nothing
man.
fancy, I just
You
needed.
get any of that morphine drip?
No, I don't think morphine.
dang.
Whatever it was, I don't know what it was. I probably numbed my top of my mouth.
You
when
want
they,
some of that nice morphine
yeah,
drip.
that
they
morphine.
insert some sort of needle in the top of
Oh,
your mouth.
damn. No, I don't like that.
And when
I do not like that.
I remember when the needle went to my mouth, it's one of those things, it's a bit
Oh,
like when you get
God.
punched in the nose. It's not like you're doing it because you're crying, because you're sad.
Yeah,
But it's like
yeah.
involuntary.
Tears. They just pour
The
out
needle
of you.
went into the roof of my mouth.
Oh, man.
Tears just shut down my eyes. It was
Oh,
like some
God. I
don't like it.
involuntary.
Someone turn
I
on the
do
tap.
not like
Someone-
that.
God turned on the tap, son. He was like, son,
Son,
you
it's
need to
time
see the
cry.
when you just drunk in your friend's backyard and
Man,
you're just
you're
rugby
not even
tackling
sad. I'm
people.
going to make you cry. boy.
Exactly. This is a lesson to you, child. This is a lesson to you, child. So, and then, I had my crown put on. It was sorted. But did I learn from the error of my ways? God dang it, no, I did not.
No.
About a year or two later, I was at a metal gig, a local metal gig in
And you
this
bit
place.
somebody.
And I bit someone
I
really
just saw
hard.
them, and I bit
bit 'em.
them.
I thought that they were a nice big juicy rib.
Saw that darn Joe again.
I saw a darn Joe Wynn. No, I didn't really. Bless you, Joe Wynn. Love you, man. But I hope that scar is shining mighty proud. But I was at this metal gig local in this place called the Art Center. The Center of Art. Of that, and
I
our,
like the Art Center, man. That's
in
a
our
good
local
place.
region. It's a nice little venue, isn't it? It's got a nice stage, got a little seating area up top if you want to be all posh and light and sit in some chairs. And it's got a nice, not a decent-sized room to boogie. If you want to boogie on down. And I was there, and I was under the strong influence of alcohol. There's a common theme in my younger years. And I was moshing, and my head collided. The front of my face collided with the back of somebody else's head. And my crown popped off and it went flying through the sky. And it landed on the floor. And, there's nothing you could do about it at the time. The lights were turned down. There was metal playing. Luckily, the covering of my nerve was still there. They covered over my nerve before they attached the crown, so I didn't feel any pain. But I tell you what, that sucked, man. I was like, oh, no, not again. I look like freaking Cletus again. I turned into Cletus again.
Oh, no.
Instantly got the accent and everything.
I got the accent back, immediately turned back into Cletus. So, and I remember at the end of the night, the band stopped playing, they turned the lights back up. I went and tried to find my tooth. And it was like, it obviously been like trampled on and stuff. And the Art Center's quite a lot like an old room in Britain, so it had like big, thick wooden floorboards. And it was wedged real tight. And I'm talking real tight, like vice grip tight.
Vice tight.
Like between these two floorboards. And, man, could I get that tooth up? No, I could not. I was trying to pry it open with my keys. Couldn't get it back up.
Strong tooth.
I know it's strong. So I had to get another one replaced. I had to get a fresh one.
You should have gone gold, man.
I could have done. Maybe I should next time. I don't know. But yeah. So that was that one, and then I had that reattached, and then it fell out one more time. But this was way more uneventful. I remember I was just watching TV late at night, and I remember I was chilling with my cat, Mr. Scraggles, and I can't remember what I was watching on television, but yeah, it just popped out, and I was like, God dang it, not again.
Darn it.
So I know, man.
All the time.
Well, I think it's one of those things. Once it happens, you just need to almost accept the fact that, like,
It'll happen again.
yeah, whether it's through time and the gradual erosion of whatever they use is like the glue, so to speak, that they stick it on with. Whether it's the gradual deterioration of that solution, solution juice, or whether it's through blunt force trauma, as with the headbutt, the mosh pit headbutt.
You got a weak point now.
Yeah, I got a weak point
there.
So if I like headbutt something, don't be surprised if that crown pops off. So yeah, that's the story of why I'm Cletus today. Anyway, So
If you want to see the full face of Cletus, you get on YouTube.
go on
and
YouTube.
You see that tooth in all its glory.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
So you are listening to Pandora's Box on Aspen Waite Radio, but if you want to see my current visage and all of our visages, and you want to see my gap tooth, go on YouTube, type in Pandora's Box Podcast, subscribe to us, y'all, and you can see all of our videos going back until as far as we started recording this, really. Since we started recording this show and putting it out on YouTube as a podcast. We also are on Spotify, so please go on Spotify and follow us there. And you can listen to all of our podcasts and listen to one of our clips. We talk about all sorts of things from like science. We talk about current events. We talk about philosophy. We talk about, just everything. History.
Oh, yeah.
We ponder the universe. We talk about cryptozoology. That's creatures that may or may not exist, like Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster, stuff like that. We talk about alien encounters. We think. We ponder. Is there any truth to it?
The future, the present, and the past.
Yeah, we talk about science and technology, all of the stuff that Mr. Elon Musk is getting up to. Everything we could possibly talk about, we talk about. So if you're interested in the world, in life, in the universe, check us out, y'all. Check us out.
Check us out, guys.
We're going to listen to a song now. When we come back, we're going to get on with some more, now you know the backstory, we're going to get on with some more facts and topics of the day. To play us in today was, of course, Sweet Home Alabama by the infamous Leonard Skinner down in the bio with me. Up next, we got Back to the River, or should we call it Back to the Bio, by We Hunt Buffalo. Enjoy this, guys. Stick around. Welcome back, Pandora's Box. I'm your host today, Cletus. I'm filling in for Obadiah Pennywhistle until his tooth get fixed, and then he'll immediately go back into the Obadiah Pennywhistle persona. Today with me in the studio, we have to the right of me.
What's up? I'm
We
Rectoid.
have Rectoid. To the left of me, we have Mr. Bojangles.
Mr. Bojangles.
Hello, everyone. We
Mr.
hope that you're
Bojangles.
having a lovely Wednesday evening out there, whatever you're doing. We appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for tuning in. I got a question for everybody.
I'm ready.
Do you know much about the largest snake that ever existed?
Is it an anaconda?
It's a relative of the anaconda, I do
Mm.
believe. If off the top of my head, I think it is an ancestor of the anaconda. I'm not talking about the biggest snake alive
Oh, okay.
currently. I'm talking about the
In
biggest
just
snake
history.
that ever existed
That ever lived.
throughout the
Gigantaconda?
infinitum of time. That's quite a good guess.
I think I might have seen what it is, but I can't remember its name.
It's called Titanoboa.
Oh, yeah.
Titanoboa.
I have heard about this.
Titanoboa. So I think we talked a little bit. Was it last week or the week before? We talked a little bit about the K2 extinction, about the extinction of the dinosaurs as we know it. Well, about 5 to 10 million years after that, we reached what was called the Paleocene epoch. Okay, so dinosaurs, all the big dinosaurs like T-Rex and all that have been extinct now for about 5 million years. And as we were talking about with the food chain and things like that, there was a lot of gaps that needed to be filled. Once all those big dinosaurs been taken out, a lot of roles in the food chain need to be filled by other animals, and this caused the evolution of a lot of pre-existing species on the planet. And one of the things that rose to dominance was mega snakes. To fill that niche category of mega predator. So Titanoboa evolved, and it was alive during the middle to late Paleocene epoch. And these snakes were god dang huge. We know that they preyed on even massive crocodiles. So like crocodiles that were way bigger than crocodiles alive today. They basically lived very similar. They hunted in the same way that like pythons and anacondas do today. So they didn't have like much poison or anything like that. Or venom is probably the best way to describe it. They didn't have much venom, but they would just wrap themselves around.
Oh, constriction.
They would wrap them around, and they would crush an animal until it was dead, and then they would eat that animal whole. And these animals were massive. They would grow up to 13 meters long. 13 meters long, I tell you.
13 meters is quite long, man.
That's
way.
that's over 40 feet long.
That is.
That's
longer than
over
me.
40 feet long, y'all. That's insanely big.
40 feet.
So think, I'm just over 6 foot tall. And now imagine a snake that's not only over 40 feet long, but the girth that goes along with that. It's not just the length, because this thing would have been so wide and girthy and round.
Swallow you whole.
About
Literally.
as long as an average city bus.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy.
40 feet long.
40 feet long.
Mm.
So these things would have been massive. They would have preyed on pretty much everything and anything in the middle to late Paleocene epoch. But I just want to
move, they'd eat it.
Yeah, exactly. But I want to give a shout out quickly to the Titanoboa, the biggest snake that we know of that ever lived. The cool thing about paleontology though and stuff like this is there's a chance
they're always finding stuff, man. That's what we know about.
There might be a chance that there might be even a bigger snake out there somewhere.
I hope so.
In the
I hope so.
The fossil records. Some little boy might be out there with a little chisel somewhere, knocking around some rocks, and his dad will be like, "Dang, son, what's that you just found?"
That's a big snake.
And then that's a goddamn big snake. And there'll be a brand new fossilized snake, and it'll be even more humongous than the Titanoboa.
Oh yeah.
I hope so.
Do you know much about the giant crocodilians?
The giant crocodilians. I assume they're a big crocodile sort of thing.
100%. So obviously they're crocodilians. So there's several species of crocodilian alive today. You've got the biggest ones are the Nile crocodile and the saltwater crocodile. The biggest reptile on the planet today is a saltwater crocodile. You'll find them in places like Australia, swimming in both the sea and in the rivers. They can survive in both. Also in Africa, you'll see those massive Nile crocodiles. They're the ones that feed on all the wildebeest and the zebra and stuff down at the watering hole. And I tell you what, both Nile crocodiles and salties can get up to 20 feet long. Sometimes over 20 feet long in some rare cases.
I've always thought that crocodiles, like that's a problem that we don't have to experience.
No.
I see videos and people are just sort of going about in the lake near them, and you can see this like figure at the bottom of the lake, and you know it's a crocodile.
Oh,
or like an alligator or something.
Oh, yeah, sir.
Well, that's something we don't have to deal with.
I know. I mean, there's a couple of people I know, God bless Liz. Liz lives up upstairs. She doesn't live upstairs. She works upstairs in this building here. God bless Liz Adio. And fine woman. Hair like a lion. When she's untamed, that is. And I prefer it untamed, Live untamed, everybody. Live untamed. But I digress. She grew up in Australia. She's an Australian lady. And I was also chatting to a guy recently, a friend of my spouse. A friend of my spouse called Lisa. Her partner's called Charlie. And he's an Aussie, too. And I was chatting to them, little things that you don't have to think about when you grow up in Britain, even if you're down in the bio. Unless you're specifically going out looking for those gators, you're not really going to find gators on the rig. And it was just quite funny, them telling me about, when you grow up in Australia, if you're out with your friends and you're down by a lake, you are constantly checking for crocodiles.
Those crocodilians.
Because the crocodile will take you and eat you without a second.
Not a shred of doubt.
A second thought. If it can eat you, it will eat you. If you're close enough and it thinks it can,
free
it'll
game.
go. And it's not just that. It's so you all, and the thing is, obviously they've evolved to be so well camouflaged in that environment that they're hard to see.
They just gonna creep up on you.
You might not even. It might be right in front of you. You don't even see it's there. You might think that its head might be sticking out of the water. You might think that's a rock sticking out of the water.
You see it in America when they're doing the golfing?
Yeah.
They smacking those balls right up to the edge of the water.
Oh, I hate it when I smack my balls. Yeah.
Yeah. No 9-iron in the green.
I hate it when
crocodile come right up on you.
Man, you do not want a 9.
Snap.
You do not want a 9-iron hitting your balls. Tell you that.
Man.
And you don't want
or a crocodile, man.
And you don't want
or crocodile.
Well, it's alligators in America. They don't have. They don't have crocodiles in North America. They have gators.
So it's an alligator.
Gator count.
What's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
The nose.
Yeah, that's right. Very, very well.
And the tooth's missing.
Their tooth missing?
One tooth is missing on. So I think on an alligator, one of the teeth is on the inside of the mouth, and on the crocodile, that tooth is on the outside of the mouth.
Right, I see.
Something like that.
I think there's a difference in a couple of differences. First, an alligator has a more rounded snout. So if you're watching on the tubes, and if not, and you want to see a more in-depth physical demonstration,
tell you what, we'll chuck up on a photo for the tubes.
We'll check out a photo on the tubes. But an alligator has a more rounded snout. And a crocodile has a more pointy snout with then like a little nose on the end. Crocodiles are bigger than alligators. A big bull alligator can get up to about 14, 15 feet long, which, don't get me wrong, is still massive. I mean, as I said, if most people think, like, say, a 6-foot man is a big man. That's still way over twice the length of a big man.
Big old reptile, I'll tell you that.
And obviously, as a girthy boy or girl as well, so that son of a gun is going to snap you right up. But alligators are bigger. Sorry, crocodiles are bigger, and alligators live in North America. You'll find them in places like Florida, Alabama, Georgia, places like that. Whereas crocodilians, there are some smaller crocodiles in, say, South America. You have things like caimans. Caiman crocodiles, which I think are more sort of maxed out at around sort of 6-7 feet long. But the biggest crocodilians on the planet are, as I said, the Nile crocodile and saltwater crocodile, and those are just behemoths, absolute behemoths, and can literally eat just about anything they want to in their given habitat. I think the saltwater crocodile is especially dangerous in Australia because obviously, it can live in both salt water and in lakes. So whether you're down with your friends in the summertime in Australia, you're jumping in lakes, you need to look out for salties. At the same time, if you're down at the beach, you need to look out for salties. Just on the subject of this quickly, I mean, Australia in general, what a mental place that is.
Yeah.
Because imagine, like, here, right? Say you go down to, like, Falmouth in Cornwall, go for a little swim. It's pretty chill. I mean, it's literally chilly because of the...
Not too much to worry about.
It's colder, so it's literally chilly. But it's also chill
Might
in terms
get some
of...
jellyfish.
Yeah.
But, but not even like that dangerous jellyfish, really. Not relative.
No man of wars.
No man of wars. No, that's right. No man of wars. No box jellyfish or
might
man
see
of
a
wars.
dolphin if you're pretty lucky.
Yeah, but that's good. But that's not anything to worry about.
Get on that back, you ride it.
Yeah, you might see a minke whale. But
I saw a seal once.
Oh man, you see seals. You see them in the Isle of Man. You see them in Cornwall. Lots of seals in Cornwall and the Isle of
Pinched
Man.
by a crab, maybe. That wouldn't be too nice.
Nah, but that
Get your tootsies bit by a lobster.
Especially if a certain thing was pinched. If you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't want my crown jewels pinched by a lobster or by a crab. But I mean, growing up in every time you go to the beach in Australia, it's just like jellyfish, sharks, salties. It's a dangerous world out there.
Damn big tarantulas.
And then by the end of the day, you go back to your clothes. You got to check inside your shoes to make sure that while you've been gone...
no scorpions or tarantulas.
Well, I don't know about scorpions, but some crazy freaking spiders.
Yeah.
I think it's called
hunter. Hunter spiders.
I think it's called the huntsman spiders.
Huntsman,
they're the big ones, but they're not too much to worry about.
Nope.
They look scary.
Black widow?
No, they're in America. Black widow are an American species. I think black widow are the most poisonous ones in America. I think the ones in Australia, the most poisonous one, I think it might be called the brown recluse spider. Can you check that out for me, please, young Mr. Bojangles? Check that out, please.
Checking it up now.
I think it's called the brown recluse or something like that. Or the something recluse.
There is one called the brown recluse, but looks to me like it's from North America, really.
Is that from North America? Check out what's the most poisonous spider in Australia, please, son.
While I search this up as well, I'll tell you something.
Tell me something.
Do you know the main difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
Tell me right now.
One will see you later, other will see you in a while.
See you later, alligator and a wild crocodile.
Like
He's a smart lad, isn't he? That's a smart lad, Mr. Bojangles.
I always wondered.
That was great. So let's find out what the most poisonous spider is in Australia. I think it's one of the most deadly on the planet. I'm pretty sure it's something like that. But, it'll kill a man.
Trapdoor spider.
Is that the most poisonous one in all Australia?
It's got a little list. I got 5 up here, and it's top of the list.
Tell me.
You got trapdoor spiders.
Right.
The mouse spider. The redback spider. Other funnel web spiders.
Oh, I've heard about them.
And a Sydney funnel web spider.
Oh, those funnel webs. We have funnel web spiders in Britain, but they're nowhere near as poisonous. I do know that they're one of the most poisonous species in the UK, and I think
funnel web.
They were the funnel web spider, because I know that the funnel web spider, I read about this before, is actually is like a cousin of the funnel web spider in Australia. But because our climate is not as dangerous in terms of other types of animals, our funnel web spider, although they look pretty much identical to the funnel web spiders in Australia, have evolved to be much less deadly. So if a funnel web spider in the UK bites you, it'll feel like a wasp sting. Right? But the thing is, you would never really get bit by them because they're not the sort of species that comes inside your house. Like, you know, you see a lot of species inside your house, and everyone freaks out and goes, the majority of them are pretty harmless. Funnel web spiders are usually, if you see on the outside of buildings, if there's like a little bit of brick that's
I've seen one of them.
Away, and
I've seen one of them spiders in there.
As the name implies, if you ever see like a little funnel, it's made like a web-like funnel, and then you'll see its legs sticking out at night.
Yeah, man.
You ever see them? That's a funnel web.
I saw them.
That's a funnel web spider.
I was once at the Bridgewater College, and I saw one of them funnel web spiders, and we had a stick. And we just poked it a little bit. See, that man came straight out of the hole, attacked the stick.
They're known to be very aggressive species. I'll tell you that.
I think we got some of those in my house.
Inside?
On the outside, we got like holes on the bricks.
Yeah, I was gonna say on the outside.
You see the little feet coming out at night.
Yeah, I've seen them outside my property as well. I've seen them out the back. I was out there a couple times, and I've got some of my, a little covering for my logs in the winter. And,
they get in all those little cracks.
I got like a brick wall. Where by where I keep my logs, and there's lots of little holes in the in the brick wall.
They love that,
and I see them all at night. In the daytime, you see the webs, but they don't come out in the daytime. They're right at the back. Yeah, unless you poke them, they stay right at the back. But then at nighttime, you see their little legs stick out, and then when prey comes close enough, they will strike.
They strike, man.
But they're known to be quite an aggressive species, so even though they keep themselves to themselves and they don't come in the house, they're not the sort of don't aggravate them or poke them with your finger, because they will bite you.
Yeah, man.
And
I saw them get that stick.
Even the British species, it'll hurt. It'll hurt. It'll be like...
You won't be stung by that?
It can be like a wasp sting. You know, and I'm being serious when I say that, y'all. I'm being serious, so don't go poking them those funnel webs. But in Australia, it's a different kettle of fish. You know, they look pretty much the same, but that'll put you dang tootin' right in A&E.
I checked out the list. That one was top of the list.
Funnel web.
Sydney funnel web spider.
It bites you, you'll be going in the emergency room.
You're going down, boy.
And if you didn't have, you're going down, boy. And if you don't get emergency medical intervention,
C-section.
If you don't get an emergency C-section, then you are going to be in serious trouble because your child might die.
Your spider child.
Turn into Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Maybe that, yeah.
I mean, maybe that might happen, but in which case that'd be pretty cool. But you'll still be in a lot of pain, so unlucky. But yeah, I mean, I just want to, Australia is a dangerous place. I mean, growing up in the UK, our largest land predator in the UK that is currently alive
is a water vole.
Excluding extinct species is the badger.
The badger?
What about a fox?
A badger is bigger than a fox, son.
Oh, my word.
It's bigger and it's heavier than a fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much bite on a fox, really. Little mouth.
I mean, you wouldn't want to get bit by one because I think the main thing would be the dirtiness.
Rabies?
Yeah. I mean, talking about how, Joe went out to get a shot earlier, you need to get a shot from a fox, too.
That's where you got yours from.
That's where I got mine from.
I always wanted to stroke a fox. They look like little dogs.
I like fox.
I seen some tame foxes.
Urban foxes.
They crazy, man. They all scatty and stuff, but they like their bellies rubbed.
It's like a mix of a cat and a dog, really.
Sort of like a mix of cat and dog. We talked a little bit on the show before.
More dog, I would say, than cat.
Yeah, I would say that,
for
too.
Me.
But you know what I thought was really interesting, and this has been documented in the wild in the UK?
What's that, man?
Is that in some cases, cats and foxes will work together and live in harmony.
Oh, my God.
Not often.
My fiancée, Megan.
Really?
She was telling me about her cat in Ludlow, England.
Right. Ludlow on the border between England and Wales.
Her cat went missing for a little bit. They went out for a walk in the woods, her and her mom.
Did it have a steamy love affair with a fox?
Well, I think it did. They looked over Mr. yonder on the hill, and this fox and this cat just sitting right next to each other.
Just chilling out.
Just chilling out. Just watching them. Just totally still, but side by side, and almost huddled into one another.
It's crazy.
And she hadn't seen that cat for 3 days. It just been chilling with the fox.
It's been chilling with the fox. Well, I know it's crazy because traditionally, cats and foxes stay clear of each other because what usually happens is when you've got two predators that fill the same role in a habitat. If you think about it, they're usually traditionally enemies. You see it in Africa with things like lions and hyenas.
There's some competition there.
Exactly, because if you think about it, like all their food sources are the same.
Yes, they both won't get up in that.
Exactly. What a fox is hunting? Foxes are hunting rabbits, rats, birds.
Any small mammals.
What are cats hunting? They're hunting rats, rabbits, birds. So it's like they're catching. So they're competition.
Yeah.
And often when you find that, like say if a fox came across like some kittens in the wild, like a litter of kittens, that fox gonna eat them kittens, and it's gonna do it for several reasons. It's gonna do it A, because it'll sustain it for food, and it's gonna do it B, if you wipe out the competition in your area, there's more food for you. It's more bountiful food for you in that region.
I like to think that the cat took the fox some kind of food as a treat.
Maybe it did. Maybe it made sweet love to it.
Yeah, enticed it in with some nice head of rabbit.
Maybe even if you're a wild fox, you still got to make love to some sweet pussy sometimes. I'm just talking about cats here, everybody. I'm just talking.
Pussy cats.
You got to make.
Them pussy cats.
Made love to a sweet little pussy cat. But I mean, yeah. So talking about this girl I know called Becky. Shout out Becky. She lived in a horse box like some crazy sort of gypsy on a campsite down in Cornwall. And she's living in her horse box, and there were cats on the campsite. A couple of people had cats, And it was good for, it's good to have cats around, to keep vermin at bay and stop rats from coming in the caravans or the tents, stuff like that, trying to get your food. And they're good companions as well. But yeah, they were a little bit worried. Apparently, the people on campsite were a bit worried because there would be foxes on the, creeping in and out every now and again.
And cat fight.
And they thought there might be some cat and but then, lo and behold, they started observing the foxes and the cats relaxing with each other, just as your Mrs. Megan, lovely Megan, described in the Borderlands Blood
Because I thought it was strange, but then you said that, I'm like, might not be strange.
It seems to be like something that's happening,
a mutual kind of like appreciation of each other.
Maybe they think it's like rather than I think, you know what I think it is?
Rather than war, let's make love.
Let's make love. But you know what I think it is as well?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something to do with cats and foxes are starting to slightly evolve away from, in more urban areas, from catching their food to scavenging food. And I think, what are you damn doing there, Mr. Bojangles?
I'm sorry, just trying to find some information.
Don't make me come over here there, son.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's right,
son. Don't turn beast down on that thing over there.
It's not. It's down.
No, beast. There's one called beast on the right.
Oh, beast.
Yeah, turn that beast down.
I never like to turn my beast down. That's the problem.
Sometimes you just got to turn your beast down.
Sometimes you got to turn, but I don't do it unless it's really necessary. But I propose, this is just a theory that I just came up with on the fly then, that as they're evolving more to scavenge their food from urban environments rather than have to hunt for their food, that maybe in
less
that
competition,
because let's face it, right? You got a big cat and you got a fox. If they're gonna fight to the death, everybody knows how sharp cats' claws are. They got needle-like teeth, and then fox.
Bad
fox
for both parties.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, even if a fox managed to kill a cat, it might be blinded in the process. Because if a cat wants to scratch your eyeballs out,
you see some of those cats come back with those. Oh man, they fighting. If
a cat wants to blind something. And it manages to scratch, it's going to blind you.
Our good friend Nicky C was actually telling us about his cat and a big gouge that happened in his eye. And you could, with the light shine funny on it, you could see the indent into the pupil.
Nasty.
I've seen a little story on here.
Well, we're going to have to talk about it in a minute, son. We're going to have to talk about it in a minute. But keep that in the wings, son. Thank you very much, Mr. Bojangles. But just to wrap up before we get into our next song, I think, fighting another alpha predator in your natural environment, it's going to take a lot out of you. There's a lot of risk mixed in with that. It's not just for war. It's a lot of risk. So I think, a lot of these animals, they know that. So it's in some situations, like in an urban environment, it can be more advantageous to work with what was traditionally your enemy and then work together for a mutually beneficial end rather than make enemies with that creature. And with that said, we are now going to listen to a track which is called The Humbling River. The Humbling River of Life by Pucifer. Enjoy, everyone. Stick around. We're going to talk about some more facts after the break. Ooh. Ooh.
Droning.
Oh, I love droning. That was Call Me Little Sunshine by the Swedish band Ghost.
They so damn good, man.
That's their latest single, and I just have to play it at least a couple times a week because it's a real good track, y'all. You're listening to Pandora's Box on Aspen Waite Radio, and I've gone full-on Southern today. I've turned into one of my alter egos, Cletus, because my tooth got damn knocked out, my crown, as I discussed and went in depth about explaining at the beginning of the show. While I'm talking about that, just a quick reminder to y'all, if you missed the beginning of the show but you want to listen to it all, if you go on aspenwaiteradio.com when the show was over, you can go back and you can actually listen to the show from its inception, right from the beginning. So you don't ever have to miss anything. You can listen to it at your convenience 24/7. Whenever you decide to listen, you can listen to it whenever. So if you want to hear about how I broke my tooth and you weren't around for the beginning of the show, just go back, go on the schedule on aspenradio.com, and you can find out. Just find Pandora's Box on the schedule and listen again. But, yeah, you are listening to Pandora's Box on Aspen Radio. I'm your host today, Cletus. To the left of me, we have Mr. Bojangles.
Mr. Bojangles.
To the right of me, we have Rectoid.
What's up?
Before we carry on our conversation, I'm going to interrupt this broadcast to bring you some Victorian slang words, Victorian slang terms that I thought were really good that I want to bring back. So these are all slang terms that were used commonly in Victorian Britain that obviously have been phased out over time.
I love these, man.
I know, they're so good.
I see some of these
sometimes
on the internet, and I'm like, oh, why don't I use that word anymore?
On old
Bring
Tinternet.
it back.
So one of the words was giggle mug.
Giggle mug.
And if you were a giggle mug, you'd say, oh, that guy's a right giggle mug. And that meant that guy was always smiling. You know, everybody knows some
positive.
Everybody knows some people in their life.
They've
always got a
giggle mugs.
They've always got a big old smile on their face. And if someone you know's always got a smile on their face, they're a giggle mug.
You call them a giggle mug.
So why don't we bring that back, y'all? If you know somebody in your life that has always got a nice big smile on their face, start calling them a giggle mug.
Shoot them a message. Let them know you're a giggle mug.
Yeah, you're a giggle mug. Let us know if you're a giggle mug. Another term, this is a little bit more, seems a little bit more almost like maybe even like aggressive. If you tell someone to bitch the pot, you say, hey, son, bitch the pot. That means pour the tea. You know, obviously back in Victorian Britain, I mean, in modern day Britain too, but way more back in Victorian Britain, you know, everyone drank tea regularly. You always have a pot of tea at hand. You know, so you'd be like, son, bitch the pot. And that would mean pour the tea.
Go bitch the pot, man.
Can you please pour the tea? Can you please bitch the pot? So, you know, maybe if you like to have a pot of tea, next time tell your loved one, whether it be your son, your mother, your husband, your wife, your best friend, tell them to bitch the pot. If you're suffering from temporary sadness, you got the morps.
You got the morbs.
You got the morps. That's M-O-R-B-S. M-O-R-B-S. You got the morbs. So if you're just down that day, you know,
you got the morbs.
It's not a long-term thing. You're not suffering from depression or anything like that. You're just a bit down. You got out on the wrong side of the bed. Maybe you had a little disagreement with your missus on the way out the door this morning. You're a bit down in the dumps. You're a bit extra busy. Your workload's piling up. You got a bit of temporary sadness. You got the morps.
You got the morbs,
But don't worry, son, because you got the morps. It'll pass.
You're going to turn into a giggle muff again at some point.
A giggle mug, not a giggle muff.
Giggle mug. Yeah, you're going to go from morb to giggle mug.
A giggle muff?
I got the giggle muffs all the time.
I'll tell you another thing. This is another good one. If you're tight as a boiled owl, that means you're drunk. That son of a gun over there, he's tight as a boiled owl.
He's tight as a boiled owl.
I don't even know how that phrase came about, because what the hell does that even mean? Tight as a boiled owl? I mean,
maybe when you boil an owl, it goes real tight.
Yeah, but compress.
But how does that mean? Else that got to do with someone being drunk?
Oh, drunk.
Yeah, if you're drunk. If you had too many moonshine, you drank too many goddamn moonshine.
I thought if you were just tight.
You drank too much bourbon.
Like you didn't want to buy someone a beer or something.
Oh no, you drunk. Oh yeah, well, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Tight as boiled. The thing is, right? If you boiled an owl that was especially tight for whatever reason, whether it was bound or otherwise,
what's that got to do with?
I mean, does that owl then act like it's drunk?
It was all loopy. Loopy, maybe?
Yeah,
I thought it'd be dead. Man.
I thought it'd probably be dead.
I thought it'd be dead.
If you boiled an owl, I mean, boiled by definition means it's boiling water. If you put an owl in boiling water, it's not gonna live long. It's gonna die.
It's gonna
So
it's gonna die.
So I don't really know what that's got to do with drunk people, but that's a phrase that they used back in Victorian times. Another one, if you were poked up, it means you're embarrassed.
Getting all poked up.
You just told that person, that woman just told everybody about our partners having trouble getting it up in the evenings. And that he's gotten red in the face, he's got poked up. Unlike his missus. Hey. Another good one, your sauce box. This isn't this isn't what you think it is.
Oh my word.
Your sauce box used to be a slang for your mouth.
Oh, my sauce box. Because your saliva maybe sauce.
Yeah, it's where you put, ketchup and mayo. Yeah. You put it in your sauce box.
Sauce box.
You dip a chip in some ketchup.
Sauce box or soft box?
Sauce. S-A-U-C-E. Sauce. Like ketchup. It's nice sauce. You put it in your sauce box.
Like that hot sauce.
Oh, I like this next one. Potentially my favorite ones, right? Cupid's kettle drums. Cupid's kettle drums are slang terms for women's breasts back in the day.
Cupid's kettle drums.
I'm sorry, lady. I want to be respectful, but you just have the most glorious pair of Cupid's kettle drums I've ever seen, and it's distracting me from talking to you right now. But I mean it with the greatest respect. I mean it as a compliment to your physical nature, not as an insult to your intellect. I'm just extremely distracted right now by your Cupid's kettle drums, okay?
Playing them Cupid's kettle drums.
But it's because they're beautiful kettle drums, okay? They're beautiful kettle drums.
I like it. My personal favorite is the giggle muff.
The giggle muff is a good one. Yeah. I got this one last one. One thing I like about the slang terms, it's almost like in Britain back in the day in the Victorian times, it's almost like little plays on words, but it's like a little bit rude, but not that rude. But it's almost like you can tell it's deliberately designed that way to make you giggle, like the giggle mug. Not up to dick. If you're not up to dick, you're unwell. You're poorly. You're sick. So you would say, "Where's Mr. Bojangles today?" Oh, well, he's not up to dick today, son. He caught the Rona, like around Christmas time. It's like, "Where's Mr. Bojangles? Where's Mr. Nathaniel Warren?" Well, he's not up to dick, because he's unwell. So if someone is unwell in your life, when someone says, where's Billy today? Say, he's not up to dick, So there's some nice, interrupted your broadcast with some nice Victorian slang there. So I hope you all learned something today. And let's try and bring some of these words back, y'all. Try and use them in your life, because they're
your friend's a giggle mug.
Yeah, if your friend's always smiling, say, "Hey, you're just nothing but a
little cheeky giggle mug.
You're nothing but a cheeky little giggle mug. You ain't nothing but a cheeky little giggle mug." So was there something you wanted to play earlier on? We were talking about cats and foxes and about how if they seem to be evolving to rather than being competition with each other, there's evidence in more urban environments anyway, that cats and foxes are starting to live almost in harmony, and almost like treating each other like
as friends.
Scavenging together and hanging out together, whereas traditionally, at least in Britain anyway, they were seen as enemies.
So
feeding on from that, what do you got for me, Mr. Bojangles?
In the French island of Corsica, there's a new species of cat fox that may be prowling around. Corsica?
It's called Corsica. It's where Napoleon's from.
Corsica. That's what we'll call it.
Corsica.
A new species of cat fox may be prowling around.
You are kidding me.
Cat fox.
Is that? Are you kidding me right now?
This is CNN. That's what they're telling me. A fox-like cat or a cat-like fox.
Are you trying to tell me that a cat can successfully mate with a fox?
I hope it can.
I hope so.
I think that's damn near impossible.
They've located 16 of the golden little striped creatures scuttling around in the remote areas of the French island.
But are they actually trying to say that this new animal has come about from the successful mating of a fox and a cat?
Or does it just look a little bit
or is it a new species? Yeah. Is it like a fox or a cat that has evolved to seem a little bit more cat or fox-like, depending on what the origin was?
I don't think they know.
Because I do not think it would be possible for a cat and a fox to successfully breed. They're they're both mammals, but other than that, they're...
What about a tiger and a lion?
Yeah, but that you got to bear in mind.
Tiger.
They're much more common. I mean, they're both cats. Cats and lions.
They're both feline.
Tigers and lions.
I would
right?
say that a fox is more on the dog scale. Canine and feline.
Yeah,
yes.
I would as well. They're much more. They're like
at the biological level.
They're like little wolves essentially. That's what a fox is. Like a little red. It's like a little red wolf.
I think. Now that I'm reading it again, it may just be a big cat.
I think it's probably a big cat.
Says it got large ring tails, highly developed canine teeth.
Right.
And,
so what it sounds like to me,
they're looking a lot like a fox.
What it sounds like to me is an example of sometimes we talked about this a little bit a while ago when we were talking about killer whales on a different show. Sometimes there's examples of animals which are like in a transitional period in their evolution. So what it sounds like to me is that this is a cat that is starting to evolve before our eyes in a more canine-like way. It's developing, its teeth are changing into what we would consider more canine-like teeth. You know, it's going down a different evolutionary route than what we would consider a normal cat. And, you know, as you were saying, like, lions and tigers can mate because if you looked at the skeleton of a tiger and a lion, it would look pretty much identical.
Right.
They're both cats. At the end of the day, they're both cats. One might live in Russia and Asia and stuff, and one of them might live in Africa and stuff, but they're essentially the same. They just got different coats. Slightly different genus, but they are evolutionary in an evolutionary sense. They are similar enough that they can still breed. Whereas, I mean, for example, there are several members of the great ape species. There's 4 great apes on the planet. There's the Homo sapien, which is what we are, humans. There's the chimpanzee. There's the gorilla, and there's the orangutan. But even though they are so similar to us, and we are so related to them that we're all the same in that great ape family, we have lost the ability to successfully mate and breed.
God damn it.
With those animals because we have evolved away enough that the sperm of either a chimp or a gorilla or an orangutan or a male cannot successfully develop the egg of a different one of those great apes.
That's my weekend plans ruined.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Bojangles. I'm sorry. I know you had a hot, saucy weekend with an orangutan
Unbelievable.
In the jungles of Asia. But
I think that's almost like just as exciting though. That you're witnessing evolution happening.
Oh, dang right, son.
I think that's sick.
They think because we were talking about it a long time ago on Pandora's Box, but there's almost like there's about 3 or 4 different types, a way of life of killer whale at the moment. We're seeing them almost like change before our eyes. So you're getting these like super predator killer whales that have much smaller pods, because all killer whales go in pods, a bit like wolves run in packs or like lions have prides. Killer whales aren't solitary animals. They go in pods. But what you're seeing is some of them are turning into these super aggressive macho predators that hunt things like they hunt great white sharks and massive whales. Things like that, but in smaller pods, like giant killer whales, which are all 30+ feet long. And then you're getting smaller killer whales that are smaller in general, but live in much bigger pods that say live off the coast of, say, Norway, but they only hunt smaller fish. And then you've got other places in the world that only hunt seals. So you're almost seeing evolution in process. So it's almost like what I'm getting at is in a million years, they would have evolved far away enough from each other that they probably won't even seem like they won't be the same.
Paths.
They won't be the same species anymore. Right now, they're all killer whales, but they've got slightly different characteristics and they're living slightly different styles of life.
They have razor tooth, those big boys that hunt the sharks.
Exactly. They might be even bigger. They might evolve to be even bigger, even nastier. The ones that are more specialists now for hunting smaller fish, they might get a little bit smaller because they don't need the size anymore. They might be more, it might be more convenient for them, but they don't need the size to be taking down these colossal prey. So it might be more handy for them to be evolved to be a bit more similar size to like a common dolphin or a bottlenose dolphin, something like that. So we're seeing evolution in process and in progress before our eyes, and it's very cool, very interesting indeed, very interesting.
Nice. I like that.
With that, I suppose it's time we listen to some music. Hope you're all having a lovely evening out there today. We're going to listen to one of the best vocalists of all time right now. This is Mr. Jeff Buckley. Rest in peace, Jeff Buckley. Sadly died in a drowning incident. He went swimming late at night. and he died of drowning. But this is Mr. Jeff Buckley with his most famous and well-known hit. This is Grace. This don't get old.
Yeah.
This don't get old, I tell you.
Do you know that crocodiles don't actually can't die of old age?
Yeah.
I know that lobsters can.
Yeah, they can only die of disease or starvation. Or,
and it's really hard. It's really hard for them to get diseased as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how old are some of the oldest crocodiles?
They can live well over 100.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they go over 100. But obviously, when it gets to that point, they are slower, and then they can't really catch their prey and keep their food source going, which is why they die from starvation.
Yeah, it's I know that I think the biggest crocodile that was ever killed. Can you look at what was the biggest crocodile that's ever killed? The modern crocodile. I think they thought that it was over 200 years old or something.
That's mad.
But I think it was 24 foot long or something like that, and they killed it there's a black and white picture of it. If you go on Google Images as well, you'll probably see a black and white image of it. But I remember
I'm just gonna search up oldest crocodile ever.
Yeah, but it was apparently they had to kill it because it was just eating everybody in the local place. Fuck. Literally. Apparently it was everybody's dogs was just going missing and all the kids in the village just going missing, and it was some place out in near some nomadic tribe somewhere.
The oldest crocodile on record was Mr. Freshy, a saltwater crocodile that lived to 140 years. But then I think the one you're talking about is maybe the Gustav.
Might be.
Gustav
can you go on,
allegedly killed up to 300 people.
Yeah.
Mental.
That's crazy. 300 people. Yeehaw! Welcome back to Pandora's Box. Southern Drawl Special.
Southern Drawl Special.
We've gone Southerner today because I snapped my tooth. So I'm hosting the show in the place of Obadiah Pennywhistle today. So I'm your host, Cletus. The show is running as usual, but just with a southern twist. With a redneck
bit of a
twist.
twang.
To the left of me, we have Mr. Bojangles.
That's me. I am Mr. Bojangles.
To the right, we have Rectoid.
Hey, what's up? I'm Rectoid, and I got a Rectoid.
We were just talking before the break. What even were we talking about? We were talking about evolution and stuff like that in process, weren't we? It's sort of in process.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about Sir Christopher Lee.
Oh my!
Is that a Star Wars man?
Count Dooku and also Saruman in Lord of the Rings. Now, I'm a big fan of Christopher Lee, and I think most people know who Christopher Lee is. But I don't know if people know as much as they should know.
Who he is.
Yeah, you might know who he is, but you don't know who he is.
Oh, yeah.
So Christopher Lee is, in my opinion, one of the most fascinating men that have lived in our lifetime. Rest in peace to Christopher Lee. Passed away several years ago now, but there are some amazing things about Christopher Lee. First off, did you know that his good friend Ian Fleming, who is the guy that wrote the James Bond novels, did you know that he based James Bond on Sir Christopher Lee?
No.
Oh my word.
Yeah, because Christopher Lee was a double
heartthrob.
He was a double agent during the Second World War.
Oh my God!
Oh my.
So he was a cunning linguist, and he could speak German so well he could convince a German that he was German. He could also speak Italian so well that he could convince an Italian that he was Italian, and many other languages as well. I think there was French as well, something. So he's just that alone. You'd have to be very intelligent to do that. So he worked behind enemy lines as a double agent, essentially doing what James Bond.
Scary, man.
But during the Second World War, and he would
take some balls.
He would find high-ranking Nazi officials, and he would either convince them. He would somehow get information out of them, whether it would be through getting drunk with them and very intelligently knowing how to press the right buttons to just get the right amount of information out of them late at night over a couple of whiskeys, or in some cases he would seduce the wives of high-ranking Nazi officials. He would sleep with their wives, and then he would get information out of them.
Damn.
And then he would disappear.
Oh my.
Into the night.
Apparently, there's so many cool bits of trivia about Christopher Lee. Once he almost married a Swedish princess, right? And was even given permission to do so by the princess's father, the current king of Sweden. He declined politely because he didn't feel that he was in love with that woman. But the fact that the king of Sweden himself was happy, you got to bear in mind, back in the day as well, things like chivalry and stuff were a lot more important back in those days, in the 40s and the 50s and stuff like that. The fact that the king of Sweden gave him an open invitation to become to essentially become the Prince of Sweden. Also, through Christopher Lee's mother's line, he was Italian, and his mother was actually Italian royalty. So he was actually he was related directly to Italian royalty.
You're meaning to tell me that Dracula himself was royalty?
Count Dooku, Dracula, Saruman the White, Italian royalty, and could have become Swedish royalty as well, and is the basis of James Bond. Apparently, there is an infamous scene during the Lord of the Rings movie where Christopher Lee would, because he was actually good friends with J.R.R. Tolkien as well.
Wow, man.
He was the only person on set as they were making the Lord of the Rings movies had ever met J.R.R. Tolkien, and as a result, he was almost like he was one of the people that was almost like on hand to help everybody with the direction of the movie. So he would be on almost every set. And apparently there was a scene where somebody ran up behind somebody else. I don't know if it was like an orc or what, but somebody ran up behind and stabbed a guy from behind, but in the side by his ribs. And apparently Peter Jackson wanted it done so that the guy that got stabbed in the ribs would scream out as he was dying, and then die. And then apparently Christopher Lee said, no, we don't do it like that. Do it so he gives a slight exhale and then just dies quietly. And Peter Jackson said, no, I think it sounds better with the scream. What do you want about it? And apparently Christopher Lee just suddenly looked at him real seriously and he was like, Peter, I'm telling you, I've snuck up behind somebody before, and I have killed a man in that way, and they don't make a sound like that. He's like, when you puncture their lungs in that way, they physically can't scream anymore. So they do like a weird raspy exhale, like they're a balloon deflating, and then they die. And Peter Jackson was like, whoa, I forgot for a second who I was speaking to. I thought I was just speaking to an elderly man that's playing a wizard, and I forgot that I was talking to a guy
James Bond.
That was basically James Bond that worked behind enemy lines and has probably killed like a lot of people in his life. But you don't realize it because he was such a gentlemanly, well-spoken individual. When you're in his presence, you just think, this is a fine gentleman of a man.
It's a cool thing to get into acting after life like that.
He was also, I believe, an opera singer. He was an amazing man. He was an amazing man. Yeah, I believe he sung opera.
He had a story to tell.
He had a great, amazing tenor voice. Really deep, bellowing voice. Great tenor voice.
I can't believe he didn't actually go on to play James Bond.
I know. I know. Maybe it was like too close to home for him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he thought it'd be a narcissistic thing to do.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just wasn't offered the role. Because it wasn't necessarily Ian Fleming that did the casting. Say Paramount Pictures, buy the rights from Ian Fleming to produce the movie. I don't think Ian Fleming then doesn't get choice.
No, I don't think he gets.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
If they decide they want to go with Sean Connery, they're going with Sean Connery. You know, so maybe he didn't have a choice. But either way, I doubt he was that hung up about it. Because let's face it, what's cooler, to be playing James Bond or to be the guy that James Bond is even based on? You know, yeah, very cool guy. So also, he was at the last public execution using guillotine in France.
Whoa, man.
He was in the crowd. He
watched that.
He was one of the last people alive
roll.
to see a live execution by guillotine. He saw the last ever one in public in France. That's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Back in the day.
I wonder what he was doing there. Just like, I'm going to go down
somewhere in France, and he saw the last public execution. Another cool factoid about Sir Christopher Lee was while he was in his 80s, he just decided to start a metal band.
What?
Did you know about that?
A metal band?
Sir Christopher Lee was in a metal band called Charlemagne.
I've heard of Charlemagne, but I don't know if I've heard of the metal band Charlemagne.
I mean, for so many reasons, I think that impresses me. I mean, let's face it.
Man, we got to get one of those tracks and we got to play it.
We do. We goddamn do. But it's like, I mean, you often grow up and you like the music you listen to as a young man. So, as I said, Christopher Lee, if he was alive today, I think he'd be like 100 or something like that. He passed away about 10 years ago, something like that. Rest in peace. One of my favorite actors of all time, one of the most impressive British gentlemen of the 21st century, 21st and 20th century, in my opinion. But, you know, he would have grown up listening to lots of, like, you know, all the dance music during World War II. You can all picture what I'm saying.
Yeah, the swing, man.
What they're listening to, and say if you watch something like Captain
Swing.
America, if you watch the first Captain America, think about the music they're dancing to in that. That's what they listen to back in the day. Swing, ballroom, stuff like that. You know, you put something you can do the waltz to, something like that, yo. And you know, but he moved with the times, and he was an interesting enough guy that, you know, even at his old age, he could appreciate metal for what it was, to the point where he even started a metal band.
That's crazy, man. That's so cool.
What and as you so well put, he wasn't the first Dracula. That was I think Bela Lugosi.
All right.
But he was the second, and he was the metal. What's it called? Hammer horror. You know, obviously Hammer horror is a real famous horror movie making company in the UK, and they made a lot of famous movies, horror movies back in the day, black and white ones. They made Wolfman, Frankenstein, Dracula, a lot of these old movies. So he was the Hammer horror Dracula, very famous for that. As I said, he was also Count Dooku in Star Wars. He was also Saruman the White in Lord of the Rings. So let's face it, just those two facts alone, the fact that Star Wars and Lord of the Rings are probably the two most successful movie franchises of all time, and he's two of the most powerful characters in both of those franchises, that alone would be a lifelong accolade for anybody. Then you count in all the other stuff I mentioned, Italian royalty.
I didn't even know about that other stuff, man.
Could have married the Princess of Sweden. Was an opera singer. Was James Bond. What a man.
Sounds like he had one of the most intriguing and exciting lives out of anyone.
I mean, talk about having a full life. That's full and a half. That's full and that's full
3/4.
That's full times 10. You know?
He lived one life that many people would never even dream of living.
He must have been one of those guys that he didn't even wake up in the morning and think, what am I going to do today? He just got up and did it. Do you know what I mean? He didn't question anything. He was just going from A to B to C to D to E to F. Some people never leave A.
Read a autobiography or watch a documentary about that
They
guy.
need. I'll tell you right now, if anybody's listening from any high-budget movie agency,
you want to do documentary.
You got to do amovie about the life of Sir Christopher Lee. I'm telling you right now, it'll be the most interesting thing on the box. I'm telling you right now. Telling you right now. Have you got any questions for us today, Mr. Bojangles? Don't feel on the spot. I'm just asking you.
Not yet.
Not yet? Gonna get some questions?
I'll get one in this head. Don't you worry.
Don't you worry, son. Don't you worry. Well, for now, then, we're going to listen to a track. This is Sick Sad Little World by Incubus. Enjoy it. This is a great one. Great guitaring. Great guitaring. Yeehaw! Welcome back to Pandora's Box, y'all. I'm your host today, Cletus. I'm taking over host duties from Obadiah Pennywhistle. Because the other day, Obadiah Pennywhistle, he snapped his tooth in the kitchen. His crown gone fell off, and I instantly turned into the character that lies before you, known as Cletus Jackson. So I'm taking over the show today. I've been wrestling alligators and all sorts of other crazy stuff. I got a little necklace made of alligator teeth, I should say. I'm drinking some moonshine. To the left of me, we have Mr. Bojangles.
Thank you, Cletus. I am Mr. Bojangles.
To the right of me, we have Mr. Rectoid.
What's up? I'm Rectoid.
And today we've been talking about a plethora of facts, as usual. We've been talking all about giant snakes. We've been talking about funnel web spiders. We've been talking about the dangers of living in Australia. We've been talking about the symbiotic relationship that seems to be developing between foxes and cats. We've been talking about Sir Christopher Lee and his fascinating life. Look up Sir Christopher Lee. A guy had the most amazing, rich, fulfilled life of any man you could possibly read about. We talked about loads of other stuff as well. We talked about loads of stuff, man. We talked about loads of stuff. But I want to ask you guys a question. On Monday, of course, it was the most romantic and sultry and hot and lustful day of the year. It was Valentine's Day. But I got a question for you guys, and I bet so many people out there don't even know the answer to this. Why do we call it Valentine's Day? Do you know?
Something about Saint Valentine, but I don't know what.
Yeah, that's right. It is about Saint Valentine. He was a priest that lived in Rome, a Roman priest that was made a saint. But do you know anything more than that?
I do not.
Right, so I'm going to tell you why they call it Valentine's Day and where the tradition came from. So we made the day St. Valentine's Day in honor of St. Valentine. So during the reign of the Emperor Claudius in ancient Rome, it went through a period where he banned marriages. And I'll tell you why. He banned marriages for men. Well, I assume for women as well, unless they were just lesbian.
All people, I would
unless
say.
they were just lesbian marriages, in which case, good for the ladies. But sometimes
Scissor City, they called it.
Yeah, they called it Scissor City. They changed Rome to Scissor City for a while. But well, not good for the men. Not good for the men, and not good if you wanted a little bit of sausage with your lettuce every now and again. But apologies everyone out there. We get a little bit carried away sometimes. We mean everything with the best intentions. But so he outlawed marriage. Emperor Claudius outlawed marriage. But the Roman priest Valentine thought this was outrageous. He thought this was goddamn tootin' outrageous.
Like, love needs to prevail.
He needs the sanctum, the holy sanctum of marriage is crucial in society, and it's a sacred part of God. It's like God wants man and woman to marry. He wants
devotion to each other and to their high creator.
He wants them to get the babies on the go, and he wants them to do it in the sanctity of marriage. And he thinks it's better for society. So what we now know is Saint Valentine. At the time, I guess he was just like, Father Valentine, whatever. He started marrying people in secret.
Secret marriages.
And he could because, he was a priest. He was a high priest of Rome. So he had,
he had the authority to do it.
He had the God-given power. If you are a priest, if you are a high priest of Rome, following the Christianities, you have the power to marry people. So he would go underground with people late at night, men that loved women, women that loved men, and he would marry them. And people get married in secret.
Beautiful.
But Emperor Claudius found out about this. And as you can imagine, he wasn't happy.
Not a happy bunny.
He wasn't happy.
Not a happy
bunny. You know why he stopped the marriages? This, I forgot his name, what you just said there.
Claudius?
Claudius, yeah. You know why he stopped the marriages?
Oh, have I not even told you yet?
No.
I haven't told you yet.
No. Why did he stop the marriages?
It's a good thing you asked me, because I'd have just flown right by that. Right, so I'll tell you why. Right, he stopped the marriages because he thought that marriage duties, that the marital lifestyle was distracting men from becoming the best warriors they could be. And Emperor Claudius wanted the Roman army to be the best army that it could possibly be. So we thought if I outlaw marriage...
Can you still have some rough and tumble behind the back sheds?
Well, probably.
I hope so.
He probably did something like, a bit more of a shallow arrangement. So he probably had it going something like, he wanted his man to be training 24/7. And if they weren't training, they should be eating and sleeping, because eating and sleeping obviously works in tandem with exercising to make you a unit of a man, to make you the best goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. Well, that's a bit ironic because can't even be a sexual tyrannosaurus, but the most alpha male you could possibly be. You need to work out, you need to eat, you need to sleep. But he wanted his army to be the best army, the most ruthless, the most efficient army it could be. So he outlawed marriage with the idea being the less time the man has to devote to his household, the more time
to the training stick.
To training by sword, knuckle, teeth, claw, spear. Whatever. Spear. You whatever.
Club.
So club. So so we outlawed that. But men didn't like it, obviously. And can you blame them? Say you're a 20-year-old Roman alpha male. You go to the tavern at night. You go to your local tavern. You're drinking some wine, because that's what there was their drink of choice in Rome. Drinking some red wine. You're looking at the lady from across the bar. She's a compatible mate to you. She's the equivalent of you, but in female form. Equal attractiveness, equal intellect, equal physical prowess, but in female form. You guys are compatible. You want to marry that woman. You want to have beautiful children with them that are then going to grow up one day and become, amazing human beings in their own right. This goes back since the dawn of time, right? Emperor Claudius wanted to put a stop to that. He's like, no, get out of the tavern, get back in a training ground,
So what happened to the couples that were already married?
That I do not know. I imagine...
they let you.
They let us. I expect they just
put a stop to a certain date.
I can imagine the uproar if you then forcefully...
Yeah, you parted your already married partner.
And also, they definitely wouldn't have done that, and I tell you why. Because back in those days,
religion.
Everybody that was Christian was Catholic, and in Catholicism, it's against the law of God to divorce.
And to marry again, yes.
So hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So there's no way there was no way you would have done that, but there's a way around that, and that's just not to get people to marry in the first place. So let's come back round full circle. Emperor Claudius banned marriages. Father Valentine at the time, let's just call him Father Valentine. He's like, nah, I'm going to take these lovers on the ground at night under cover of darkness, and I'm going to marry these people. And then they're going to be married, but they'll be in secret. And then, the guys go training and stuff, but then if they sneak off every now and again, give their beautiful wife a couple of kisses, a couple of tender hugs, maybe have a little dinner together somewhere as the sun's going down or a tree somewhere on the outskirts of Rome, and you sneak back in your training ground. But word of this got back to Emperor Claudius. I don't know how, I don't know when.
He won't happy, man.
But he wasn't happy. So what do you think he did?
Oh, he did not make a martyr of Father Valentine. I hope not.
He did.
Oh,
he did. Word. Oh my God.
He got him bound. He got him taken away. He got him stripped of his privileges, and then he got him clubbed.
Oh no, man.
not to Mr. Valentine.
Not to Father Valentine. I know. Can you imagine doing that to Father Valentine? The most holy guy after Father Christmas.
Unbelievable.
So he had him beaten with clubs.
Damn.
Once he was almost dead, he had him beheaded.
Damn.
My word.
He then had his remains thrown in a shallow grave.
Who knew that Valentine had such a beautiful but dark story?
Yeah, I know. And then he was disinterred.
What does that mean?
Came back to life.
His remains. He was exhumed. His remains were taken.
Oh my word.
And then I don't know when it started exactly. So maybe this is something for everyone out there to find out. Maybe I'll look it up as well. I don't know if anybody even knows. I don't know if historians even know. Maybe that's why I don't know, because nobody knows. But he became a martyr, and obviously what he became a martyrdom for was love and union. And we now commemorate Valentine's Day in honor of Father Valentine, now Saint Valentine. He was made a saint because of his contribution and his unwavering sacrifice, even sacrificing his love for the sanctity of love and marriage and union between two people. So
what a beautiful story, man.
Yeah.
I like that.
God bless you, St. Valentine. I'm sorry you got beaten by those clubs, and I'm sorry you got beheaded, and I'm sorry you got thrown in a shallow grave.
For some reason, I always thought that Valentine's Day was just an excuse for card companies.
I think it kind of is now. They
it
definitely don't promote.
But I think now we all know that.
Story.
Yeah.
Now we all know that.
We can give it more credence and more.
Yeah, it makes you actually
appreciate
Valentine's
history behind
on a different level.
Should celebrate Valentine's
Day.
Oh yeah,
the sacrifice of a man who literally gave his life
for love
under tyrannical rule against the oppressive rule of your emperor. He risked his life for the sanctity of love. So God bless you, St. Valentine. I hope that you are resting well, sir.
You are a friend of the pod.
You are a friend of Pandora's box. I'll tell you that. St. Valentine is officially a friend of Pandora's box. We love you, St. Valentine. We love you. We love you. Have you got a question for us?
I've got a question
today,
for you,
Mr.
ladies and
Bojangles?
gentlemen. So, this week, I know we spoke a little bit about Christopher Lee earlier on the show.
Mr. Christopher
Lee.
So,
my question this week to you, ladies and gents out there, if you could be one role in a movie or a TV show, or just be in a movie or TV show, which would you choose?
I'd remake Tarzan, and I'd be Tarzan.
Tarzan?
I love how definite that was. I love how definite. He didn't think
knew
twice about that.
He's been thinking about that for some time now.
I've always thought I was Tarzan.
Since he spoke his first word, he's been waiting for that question.
Yeah.
All his life.
Swinging from vines.
Do you know what I'd like?
Talking to the monkeys.
Do you know what I'd like? Talking to the monkeys, yeah. Wrestling alligators. Oh, no, that's what we've been doing. Making friends with the orangutans, like the little boy in the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
You know?
So are you choosing?
I would choose. I would just be a bear.
The bear in Jungle Book.
I'll be the bear.
Baloo.
I'll be Baloo the bear.
He Baloo the bear.
I'll be Baloo the bear in Jungle Book. But I'd also like to be. I'd also like to play something like Uhtred in the Last Kingdom. That'd be epic, man.
Yeah.
Also because my grandfather's from the Isle of Man, which is like a Viking isle. in the UK a little bit like how the Orkneys are. There's full of Viking burial grounds, and in the museum there's like Viking long ships there, and very proud of their Viking heritage. So it's like I have Viking DNA, but obviously I was born in England, much like Uhtred. So I feel like I have that whole I'm British, but I have that connection to England like Uhtred does to Bebbanburg and Britain, but he's also got that Viking
heritage.
thing. He's got a Viking way of being as well. It's like you don't quite fully fit in with the Vikings or the Brits, and I guess that's a bit like me. When I'm walking around my local supermarket, people are like, "I'm not gonna serve you. Are you a Dane? Or are you an Englishman? What are you? Should we fear you or should we embrace you?" So I'd like to play something like Uhtred.
Oh, nice.
Uhtred of Bebbanburg.
What about you, man?
Well,
Anakin Skywalker.
I think physically,
episode 2.
I think physically, I've got the stature of like a Bane or a Batman, but I think probably, maybe Anakin. A lot of people say.
I'll answer for him. Anakin Skywalker, episode 2, doesn't like sand.
I don't like sand.
He doesn't like sand, but he's
coarse and it gets everywhere.
But he's very, very hot. He's got the hots for that young, beautiful lady, Mrs. Padme Amidala.
My word.
Princess Padme. Queen. Not
Queen.
Princess. Sorry.
Queen.
Queen Padme Amidala.
How dare you?
Little Padme.
How dare you?
We've almost come to the end of the show. We got enough time for just some quick quotes. So this is one from Mr. Jocko Willink. Most of us aren't defeated in one decisive battle. We are defeated one tiny, seemingly insignificant surrender at a time that chips away at who we really should be. So keep that in mind. Every decision you make every day of your life, it's not going to be a big one event. It's lots of little things you need to be mindful of. Who are you going to be in 5 years' time? You decide right now with every single yes or no or action that you do in your life day to day.
I like that.
We have come to the show. We've come to the end of the show, y'all.
That's it.
I've been Cletus Jackson. You've been
Mr. Bojangles.
And you've been...
I've been Rectoid Man.
You've been listening to Pandora's Box on Aspen Waite Radio. We appreciate every single one of you. If you're not subscribed to YouTube, go on our YouTube and subscribe. If you're not following us on Spotify, go on Spotify and give us a follow.
Leave a rating. 5-star rating. Leave us a rating.
Go follow us on TikToks as well if you're a young, sprightly young folk and you have TikTok.
Check out the clips.
We love every single one of you. Have a great week, y'all. See you next time.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye.